Every day we interact with different kinds of data. Your name, your age, your bank account balance, the room temperature, all these are data. Some data is made up of words, some consist of numbers, some contain decimal values, and some simply represent true or false. Because these pieces of information are different, computers need a way to categorize them so as to know how to store, process, and use each one correctly. In Python, these categories are called data types. A data type tells Python exactly what kind of value it is working with, allowing it to perform the appropriate operations without confusion. Once you understand data types, you have a much stronger foundation for everything else you learn in Python. In this lesson, we're going to be learning about these common data types. We'll learn about the integer, the float, Boolean, and the strings. We're going to be starting with the integers. An integer is a whole number. These are numbers without decimal places. For instance, numbers like 1, 2, 3, and so on are integers. So we have 100. This is an example of an integer. Integers are whole numbers without decimal point. Integers can be positive or negative. For instance, -1 is an integer, -20 is an integer. As long as a number does not have decimal points or decimal places, as long as a number is a whole number, it is an integer. Now let's look at the next one, which is floats. Floats are numbers with decimal points. For instance, numbers like 1.5 is a float, 5.5 is a float, 0.001 is a float. Once a number is not a whole number, it is considered to be a float. And just like the integers, floats can be positive or negative. So numbers like -0.5 is a float, 2.2 is a float. As long as the number has decimal points, it is a float. Now the next one is what we'll call the Booleans. The Boolean type has two possible values, which is true and false. Boolean types are used to represent whether a condition is true or false. So I want you to see the true like yes and the false as no. So when you want to represent whether a condition is true or false, you use the Boolean types. Strings are used to represent textual data. As a matter of fact, any piece of text that is enclosed inside of quotes is considered a string. So we can have something like name is equal to, then I will have a quote, then provide the text. I can have Johnson. So this is a string. Any piece of text enclosed inside of quotes is considered a string. You can use either the single quote or the double quote. For instance, I can have description. I can have something like a very nice person. So this is also a string. This one is inside of double quotes. Here we have single quotes. So if you have the single quote at the beginning, you have to use a closing single quote. If you have a double quote at the beginning, you have to end it with a double quote. If you try to use non-matching quotes, you are going to run into a syntax error. For instance, we have a double quote here. If I try to close this with a single quote, we'll have an error. So I'm going to remove this and use a double quote. Now the error disappears. So strings are used to represent textual information. It could be information about a person, about a product, about an activity. As long as the textual information, we use strings to represent textual information.